I'm around some seniors that literally do 10 calls a day, but guess what? They hit their goal every month, right? So I'm sitting right next to these people, but I can't compare myself to them because I'm new. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna make up in numbers what I lack in skill right now. So, hey, I might need to make 42 calls to hit my goal. What's going on, y'all? Good morning. Today is Sunday. We are gonna go to church here soon, but after I get home from church, I wanna be talking about my first month in tech sales as a business development rep. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so what's going on, y'all? I'm back from church, obviously. And yeah, had a good time. As always, just finished watching the Cowboys get this W. As y'all know, I am a Texan, or let me rephrase that. I am from Texas, but I live in DFW, so I am a Cowboys fan. Shout out to y'all, America's team. But anyways, I'm just gonna come off the dome today. I know I normally have my iPad, but hopefully y'all get some value out of it. I am talking about my first month in tech sales as a sales and business development rep. So if you don't know already, those terms are synonymous. SDR or BDR, it really just depends on the company that you end up working with. I am working at a real estate tech company, and so there we call it a business development rep. So I'm a BDR. Basically, my first month, man, it has been really interesting to say the least. I can't stress enough, tech companies are just different. Like, the way they go about a lot of the things, big or not. My company is a Fortune 500 company. Like, they're on the stock exchange. I said Fortune 500. I don't know about that, but they are on the New York Stock Exchange, so they're kind of up there. I've chosen a hybrid role, so 2 days out of the week I am at the office, and then the rest of the days I'm at home. No one is in the building really on Mondays and Fridays. I do have the option to pick any day to come in. Wednesday is the only solid day, and that's just because that's the day that everyone is in the office, and we can have our big team meetings or one-on-ones. Everything can kind of happen on Wednesday, and I'll tell you more about Wednesdays as well here shortly. But so pretty much outside of Wednesday, I can pick any other day to come in as long as it's 2 times out of the week. Me personally, I choose Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's just easier to go ahead and get that day out of the week. Coming off of the weekend, like tomorrow, Monday, I will be at the house. Just like I said, normally everyone is. Tuesdays and Thursdays and Wednesdays are when most of the people come in. I will say this, there are whole departments in my company that I have never seen. Up until last Thursday, we had our company winter holiday banquet, so to speak. It was at this place called Enchant in Dallas, but I was seeing people that I haven't seen since I've been there, and I had a feeling that they came from these departments that I walked by, and literally no one is ever there. And I had to ask, I'm like, yo, do these people even come in? And they were like, nah. Like they literally never come in. So that's because the 2 days a week, the hybrid role, that's specifically for my team. Every team there has something different. I work at one of 3 big offices. So we have the headquarters in Santa Barbara. Then we have one big office in San Diego, and then our office in Dallas. And so, like I said, we're on hybrid, I'm on hybrid, and there are other departments in there that are fully remote. So as y'all probably know, in tech, there's still whole roles that you don't even ever have to come into the office. They still have a full desk, So that was one thing that was cool as well. When I first got hired, they sent me 34-inch monitor and the MacBook Air and the Magic Keyboard, the Magic Mouse that goes with Apple. And when I got to the office, I had the same setup at the office. So you get two of each thing, or except for the MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, obviously. So you take that back and forth, but everything else is pretty synonymous. Oh, and I got a headset as well, but I do have headphones, so I didn't have to really use that, but you get 2 sets of those too. So that's something that is pretty standard in tech companies. I will say, I think there is a difference. There are some companies that get Dell's, some companies that get Microsoft, and then some companies that get Apple products. I think it really just depends on what that company wants. So let's see, first week, it was pretty fun. Like, I was excited, didn't know what to expect. Luckily, I was coming in with one other guy, so me and him are pretty tight because we came in at the same time. And if you are in one of these roles or are getting ready to get in, you'll realize that pretty quick. Sometimes you're gonna come in with someone else or 1 or 2 other people, and y'all are gonna kind of stick together because y'all are coming up the trenches with each other. So it's pretty cool. I'm so excited that the team that I'm on, everyone is for each other. Like, yeah, I came in with one other guy and we're new, but everyone treats us like we have been there. Like, literally the second week on the company, I got invited to the Friendsgiving. Literally, I got invited to Friendsgiving. It was like, I was just like, dang, that's crazy. They could have easily just like hid that from me, because they were getting everything together in a Slack channel named Friendsgiving. And so, I wouldn't have known if I missed it until they came back or whatever. But it was just cool to get invited to that, to know like, yo, yeah, I'm new, or like, yeah, you're new, but we still rock with you because you're on our team. So how it's split up, the first week, we really just was learning the content, learning the things that we needed to know. That was for the first 2 weeks, really. And we spent some time on the floor, like on the sales floor, where we're just kind of shadowing. So we would do some work and then go out and kind of interact with everyone. We would go to all the meetings. So any meetings that they already had set and stuff like that, we were also a part of that. And it was really just learning what we did and kind of getting those basics out of the way. Third week, we were on the phones. So actually that second week, by Friday, we were starting to make our first calls. And basically what they do there is they have accounts that people want our product, our software, but they aren't quite meeting the criteria. And so we kind of practice with those, which I thought was pretty cool. It was pretty interesting. It's like, we're just not calling random people. We're not just calling fake people, or not just practicing with each other. It's like, no, hey, these are real companies. We want you to have the real conversations that the real stuff that we learn. We want y'all to implement this, but just understand that they might not be ready yet for our service. So go through it as if they are, ask the questions that need to be asked, take down the information that needs to be taken down, and then you ask certain questions that they may or may not fit yet, in the criteria yet. And that's for us, like I said, we're in real estate, so in order to even work with us, you have to have at minimum 50 units. And so these might be companies that have 35 units or 40. And every now and then, which they told us, they're like, hey, the reason you want to take these serious is because there are going to be companies that by the time you speak with them, they've crossed over, they've added another 20 units, another 50, another 100, and now they are a good fit if they still want to be with us. And so sure enough, in the first couple weeks, I was able to, get one on the board. All right, our goal when you first start is one, and I was able to get one. because by the time I talked with them, they had got over 50 units, and they wanted what we did. So that was pretty cool. And as I talked with other people on the team, they said the same thing. They were like, yeah, a couple of them, like, yeah, that was my first one too, was with practice accounts. So that was pretty cool to see that, like, hey, the stuff that they're teaching you, it really works. Like, the way you ask the questions to get these answers that are needed to be successful, it works. And so that went a long way into building my confidence and knowing, like, okay, speaking on confidence, like I said, this one may or may not be all around the board, but it's because I'm going off the head. But speaking on confidence, man, when I say that my team, they like literally root for you. Like, yes, we're competing, but it's like, yo, at the end of the day, we're still a team. And our teams are split up into two. So I have a manager here and a manager here. And then you have people on each team, right? But we all sit together. So I might sit next to someone who's on another team. And then, behind me, you might sit with a higher BDR, senior BDRs. And, it's just all mixed in. So you can get help if you need it or whatever. But needless to say, to bring it back again, talking about confidence, that first Friday when we were getting ready to kind of start calling, they went out in the Slack channel and was like, hey, they're getting ready to start calling, send them some encouraging words. And one of the guys on the team, man, he because this was a Friday, so we were at home, but he hit me up and he was like, yo, man, you belong here. He was like, be confident, know that the stuff that you learned, it's gonna work. Just be confident. He was like, you belong here though. Trust me, they would not have hired you if they didn't think you could do this, if they didn't think you were gonna be great at it. You belong here. And it was just a few words, but again, it was just kind of really reassuring to know, like, yo, I do belong here. Like, I am that dude in a humble way, right? But that's kind of how that's been going. But after that, it took a couple weeks, and literally by the month period, like that month week, we got our territories. And so basically what that is just where you are specifically calling. So I am calling real estate companies in South Carolina and Virginia. Like, that's my territory. You might have someone else on the team who's calling nothing but, New York and New Jersey companies. So, and by the way, those are two different styles of calls, right? New York, straight to the point, might cut you off, all these things. Versus South Carolina, they might have a conversation with you, but at the same time, they might be so nice that they're just going along with what you say and then have no intention on doing anything as well. So you got to, really learn your craft and learn how to talk to who you're talking to, which, by the way, whoever you get on with, they're going to teach you that. They're going to teach you what you need to know to be successful in that role. Because remember, they have no reason to not do it, right? The more money you make, the more money they make. It's really that simple. So they want you to be successful. And speaking on being successful, one of the greatest things is knowing that my manager, when we first got on, they were also like, hey, I understand you're not going to be here long. Nobody ever is. He was like, 6 to 9 months, you're going to be on the senior BDR team, and one of those teams and working with them. So it's my job just to kind of help cultivate you and get you ready to be successful there. I get a lot of turnover because my team does not stay with me long. And that was another thing that I was just like, cool, like, y'all get it. My goal is to be a enterprise account executive, and in order to get there, you're gonna have to get promoted. And they literally, at my company, they are like spot on with promoting and getting you pushed up the ladder, so to speak. It's really cool to see that. And since I've been there in this month, like I've seen like 4 people get promoted, and then literally this past week, there were some senior BDRs that were getting, or not getting, but they were interviewing to get on to the sales team. And so if you don't know, I probably should have said this earlier at the very beginning, but BDRs, they don't really sell, right? That's a part of my call as well. You know, if someone's saying like, hey, we already have a software, you know, my goal is, my thing that I say is like, hey, that's cool. I'm not actually able to sell you anything on this call. My call is just to get information from you and see if there's any pain points or anything that is blocking you all from being more successful. And if we can help that or help fix that, then cool. But if not, also cool. And that's because that's literally the truth. As a BDR, you're not really selling anything. You're just trying to vet people or vet companies to see if they are in a position to be able to get on a demo and be able to go in and get information to see if they can be a good fit for our company or your company, whoever you're with, and then go from there. So no selling as a BDR, is just really vetting companies and then pushing them into a meeting that then they can actually get sold or actually purchase the product and all that. But you don't really sell anything there. It's just, you're an information gatherer, really. And that's cool because you can start there, and then it's one of the hardest jobs in the company, but it's also really fulfilling knowing that, hey, I'm doing this job and I'm doing good at it, or I'm doing this job and I'm learning the ins and outs of the company. So when I do get up to an account executive and I'm actually selling, then I actually have some background knowledge, extensive background knowledge that I can pull from when I need to, if the conversation ends up going there. So that's why I'm embracing the role, really trying to learn everything that I need to learn to be successful at this job, and just really pushing forward. And so far it's been good. Like I said, it's been a month and I'm just really having a great time. And now really I have a few things that I think will be some good gems and good tips. And so I'm just gonna tell y'all those, and then I'm gonna head out of here. Oh, actually, before I get into that too, within my first month, I was also able to not meet up, that'd be crazy. Wow, but I was actually able to meet the CEO of the company. Like I said, the headquarters is actually in Santa Barbara, California. So we see week, but they see him in person every week. We just see them on a call, and that's not every week, it's every couple of weeks or something like that. But anyways, that meeting, he actually had it in the Dallas office, and so he was there along with some other leaders on the at the Santa Barbara office, and it was just real cool to actually meet him and just sit in on some questions that some other newer people had, and him to answer them truthfully. There were some pretty straightforward questions, about where the company is going, or what, with the stuff that we've been through in the past as far as COVID and the technology industry layoffs and all that stuff, and how would that affect us, and he was just, like I said, he had no problem answering every single question that they had, and speaking of the one with the technology, like the tech industry layoffs, he was just like, look, I'll be honest, obviously I don't know, but at the same time, what I do know is we've been through a few of those in the amount of years that they've been around. And he was like, the thing that keeps us safe is where people are gonna always need somewhere to stay. So regardless of what the housing market does, or regardless of what, happens around real estate, people are gonna need places to stay, and we're in the real estate business. So it was real reassuring. I will say that, but it was cool at the same time to just know, like, he's definitely willing to answer those. So I'm looking forward to continue to learn the role of the BDR and grow with the company. and just have fun with it for sure. And real quick, what I'll do is just share some real strong nuggets that I think could help future BDRs or SDRs or just someone who's looking to get into it to, maybe think on and see if that's something that they're willing to do. And so first I'll really start with I'll say all right, we're cool. If you don't like me, well, that's sad, but if you ever come back around, what's up? And that's in so many words. Obviously it's a lot of nuances in that, but that's generally kind of how I am. But I will say building relationships is, that's always key, regardless, whether it's the CEO, whether it's just your leadership, definitely your coworkers. I would say you need to go to team events. Don't be the person that's nah, I'm gonna stay at home every time, right? I'm not saying you need to be in everybody's face all day, every day, but at the same time, every now and then, they're having a team event, go to it. I forgot to say it earlier, but I can say it now. We've had 2 team events since I've been there. I was at both of them, and I was able to not meet, but really have conversations with people that I don't normally interact with like that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And so it was real cool to get to know oh yeah, we're close in age, or oh, all these different things. And so it's really neat and really necessary to build those relationships with your coworkers. And speaking on eating, since I've been there, and I'm pretty sure this is kind of standard at other tech companies as well, every Wednesday they feed us. So everyone's in the office, we pick something that we're gonna eat, and then we put in our orders and they take care of it every Wednesday. I forgot that I was gonna tell y'all about Wednesdays, so I might as well say that now too. On Wednesdays at 4:00, every Wednesday, they kind of shut things down, and we just, this actually goes right into what I was saying anyway. So we kind of shut things down, and it's really time to build relationships with each other. So we stop calling, we just, go around to each other. We get little clumps of people over here, little clumps of people over there, and we kind of just chit chat and talk it up. And really, they actually, White Claws and beers out a little bit. I don't know. I don't really drink at all, so I don't know what they are specifically. So I don't know if White Claws is beer or not, so I'm not gonna put that on them. But I do know some Coors Light is. So I do see those, and I see something that says White Claw, and that's cool. I normally just go and get me a nice cold Topo Chico and sit there with them, because I don't drink or smoke or whatever, but at the same time, that doesn't mean I can't have a good time with my fellow coworkers. And so they set that time out apart to really just kind of, like I said, build that relationship, kind of learn, kind of dig and ask questions. Again, all of these things, what we do for a living is talk. We talk for a living. So, if you're afraid to talk, what are you doing here, right? So we talk to each other, we ask questions, we dig deeper, all things that translate to us on the phone when we're actually talking with potential clients as well. And so with that being said, the next tip I would give also is just kind of being extremely intentional with your mindset. Mindset is everything as well. So how you think, how you go about your day, how you go about handling obstacles and everything like that, that's all important. So, don't compare yourself with anybody. You're you for a reason. Like I said, when I first got there and we first started making calls, that guy that told me, hey, you're here for a reason, they wouldn't have hired you if they didn't think you were good, if they didn't think you could do this, and if they didn't think you could be great. That was enough for me, for sure. So just know, hey, don't try and be anybody else. When you're new, you make up in numbers what you lack in skill. I heard that from a mentor a long time ago. Make up in numbers what you lack in skill. I'm around some people that, they make 10 calls a day or something like that. our goal is 40 calls a day every day. But I'm around some seniors that literally do 10 calls a day. But guess what? They hit their goal every time, every month, right? So I'm sitting right next to these people, but I can't compare myself to them because I'm new. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna make up in numbers what I lack in skill right now. So, hey, I might need to make 42 calls to hit my goal this right now, right? 5 months down the line, 6 months down the line, hey, maybe I do only need 35 calls or 30 calls to hit my numbers. Why? My skill is getting better, right? So keep everything in order and keep everything in the right mind frame, and you'll be great. Next thing I would say is just be intentional on goal setting, right? Don't set these huge, lofty goals. Set something that you can hit. Set something that's a little bit out there but still attainable, and then set that huge lofty goal. But that way you have things that you can work towards and actually accomplish and really check off in between time, right? While still having that thing that's a little bit out there but still attainable. So set some really good goals, set some fair goals, and then set out to actually hit them. For me, even right now to this day, it's some of my goals are, hey, hit your numbers, hit your daily, your daily KPI, hit that. Another goal that I can control is learning my full script, so to speak, right? So we have loose scripts because we like to have conversations, but learning those core principles that are going to make sure that I'm able to get what I need out of that call to make sure these are good candidates to push forward. So learning all of that like the back of my head, right? So that even if we get off, to a tangent on the Cowboys, I can bring it back and make sure that I hit all my points. You can do that when you know what you're talking about. So that's a goal that I still have in my first month. And just, like I said, stuff like that you can check off and know that you're growing, right? So that will help as well. And then speaking on hidden goals and goal setting, kind of learning your prospects, learning your company, like what you do, who you work for, right? All these things, like who you're calling, what are these, what are their personas look like, right? What does their day-to-day look like? Why do they need what you sell? Like learning these things, it will build your confidence. So when you're on the phone talking to these people, whoever they are, whatever company you work for, you can really be confident in knowing that, hey, I know what I'm talking about, right? That comes through the phone. I know that you are lacking whatever you're, lacking because I've done the research and I know that we can help you. If you have confidence in those three things, like it's gonna show through the phone, and you're gonna be able to relay that message in a way that they understand, like, hey, I do need this, whatever that software is, and let's have a conversation. So I would say that's a huge thing as well. And last but not least, just for those of y'all who are new SDRs or BDRs like me, just know, like I said it a few times during this, but it really stuck out to me. Know that like you're a real gem, right? Like you're one of one. There's nobody else like you, and you're at that company for a reason, right? Like, yeah, somebody may be able to say something like you. Like if y'all have a script, they may be able to say that same script, but they're not gonna say it like you, right? There might be a person that this company has been trying to get for years, and they haven't been able to get them until you came, because that person liked you, right? This is why businesses continue to grow. Somebody might buy from somebody at the company, and somebody else could have called them 3 times and literally they wouldn't give them the time of day. And who knows why, right? But all I can tell you is that you're one of one, and act like it, live like it. But you have to make sure you know your stuff, and just again, your company hired you for a reason, and they know that you can do the job. So just, oh, that was crazy. And they know that you can do the job. So just make sure you learn it and do exactly what they knew and what they hired you to do. And you're going to have great success. And so, with that being said, man, that's everything that has, kind of I've learned, or everything that really has happened for me in the first month of being a business development rep. And so I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.